Thank you for coming to our little fireside chat, little lunch and learn. We're going to be talking about AI, and a lot of the people that are attending this event are small business owners, and they can often feel intimidated or even fearful about AI and adapting that into their processes. So today we have with us Mel McGee. She is the CEO of SkillSpout, and we have Pamela Anson. She is the president and CEO of BBB Cleveland.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, it's nice to see you. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Um,
Good, good, good. Pam, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having us. And I know Mel and I are really passionate about AI and helping businesses. So we're excited to chat today.
Absolutely. We're excited to kick off this conversation. I know a lot of people, we've been posting about this, and a lot of people are very interested in learning how AI can help them automate certain things like maybe mundane tasks or just different processes. So, Mel, let's kick it off with you. Um, AI literacy. So, we
yeah,
hear a lot about that, but what actually does AI literacy look like, especially for small business owners?
right. So the thing about AI and large language models, that's what we're talking about here, is that there are different versions of what literacy looks like. It's not a one and done kind of experience or training. It is something that is continuous learning on a very, very basic level. If you're just looking to get started, what are the basics of AI literacy? I would say the very basics would include understanding what AI is, what AI isn't, what large language models are, because that's actually what's the big buzz right now are the large language models. And then on top of that, things like prompting skills, because prompting is how you communicate with large language models, security basics, ethics basics, and the understanding of just where you can go in AI, where, what is the journey and what does the journey look like? I would call that basic foundational literacy.
That's really good to know. I think there's a lot that can be intimidating at first, and so that explanation hopefully can help people take that initial fear off of it. Pam, as CEO of BBB, one of the cornerstones of BBB is trust. How do you
Mhm.
think that AI and trust partner together? Do you think they go hand in hand? Explain to maybe these small business owners or employees on this call how we can still trust even with AI.
I think Mel made a great point that ethics and AI is one of the first things that you need to know. And that's what the BBB. The B is about trust, and AI and trust is a huge question because it can be so overwhelming for people. So I think
Mhm.
it's understanding what information in AI is true. Um, is the information is using AI ethical? And because there's a lot of things like AI hallucination. So AI can sometimes make data up, right? So when we talk about the internet and the BBB Cleveland actually took some AI classes from Mel to help us also understand this. So AI is inherently biased and it can make up data. And that's because it's based on the internet. And the internet is inherently biased and can make up data. Um, and so, since that internet data is feeding into our search results or the things that we're using, we need to make sure that the information that we're producing with AI is trustworthy. That is probably one of the biggest things. So, really, you need to have a human oversight in that to make sure that you are using the most trusted information from AI.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that because I kept saying, one of the most important things about AI and one of the most foundational skills, which I didn't say precisely here, is that you need a human in the loop. You need to be human first when adopting AI. And, there's a lot of what we call AI slop out there, right? People are using AI to write without reviewing it or without putting any of their own effort into it. That is not how we would train someone to use AI. That's not how you get the most out of it or do the best work you can. It's really having a human in the loop, reviewing, not only reviewing, but starting the process as well. Start with your brain first. Start with your own ideas. Don't just offload your whole brain to AI to take over. It's really an important thing to learn and to do in daily practice.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think that's what SkillSpout really helped us understanding is, yeah, you could just put all your ideas into AI, but that's just not going to be the most effective way to get out what you want.
100%. Yeah.
Exactly. I what kept saying in my mind as Pam was talking, and then before you said it, Mel, human in the loop. That's something that I think ever since we took that class, anybody in our office that's constantly repeating in their head of just be the human in the loop. But on that point, for both Pam and Mel, how can small business owners still keep that personal touch while using AI, right? Because a lot of times it might seem to people that AI is going to take over and take their jobs or take, over their staff maybe. And so how would you say that personal touch can still be there for those business owners when that might be their bread and butter?
Oh, yeah. I mean, AI does not replace people. It is a tool for people to use.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is, can you automate certain things? Absolutely. Are those the things you don't want to do? Probably. Um, it's a way you can utilize it as a partner versus a replacement. And that's how I approach it, and that's how SkillSpot approaches it as well. Pam, I'm curious about your.
No, and I think that being a small business is a superpower, right? It takes so much time and effort into really doing it. So just like what you said, Mel, use it as your assistant, use it as a way to do those mundane tasks you don't want to do every day. It shouldn't replace the things you love or the things you love in your small business. It really should be acting as your assistant to help you do the day by day things. And that's what builds trust. That just gives you more time to be with your consumers, to help build better relationships with them. So finding ways to use AI in a trustworthy way will help you be on the ground and connecting with your customers or your customer base.
Yeah, and you can get more personalized using AI as well. So instead of just saying, we'll do everything the same way, I think what you're going to start seeing everywhere is deeper dives, into whatever your business is, maybe with new products, new services, new offerings, better relationships, right? I mean, you can get hyper personalized and really improve results versus saying we're just going to put more quantity out there. You can think about what the quality is like.
Oh, that's such a great that is such a great thing to say, and I'm really glad you said that because that's exactly what I'm doing here. For those who don't know, I'm a newer CEO for BBB Cleveland. I've been in this role for about a year, and the classes that we took at SkillSpout, that's what it made me realize. There are so many things in a nonprofit that I wear so many hats every day. The team here at BBB wears so many hats every day. There's more than enough work. And that's what I want to do is use AI to get us out of all these mundane tasks so that we are creating more personalized things like hands-on approaches with our accredited businesses, more like tailored content for our consumers that call us and ask for help every day so that we can have more time to spend with them to solve their problems. Yeah, I love that. I think that's great.
Yeah, that's what I gain a lot out of that too. So yeah, we're in the same boat.
Awesome. So I wanted to make a quick note. If anybody has questions while they're on this call, please put them in the chat. We will have Q&A at the end of this. I know everybody is introducing themselves in the chat, which is lovely. Make friends, get to know each other. You never know how you can partner with each other in the future. But back to AI. Mel, can you talk about the difference between augmentation and automation?
Yeah, both both are Both are good things, in my opinion, but they're different. Um, Automation is something that you can trust a computer to do without, I consider, without a lot of human in the loop. Automation is something that's rinse and repeat.
Okay.
Automation does not necessarily require AI. It could be something that you do. A program could be automated, right? It doesn't require AI necessarily. Augmentation. Augmentation is really where I see AI and large language models joining with us, with people. It's augmenting us. It's giving us superpowers. So I would say augmentation is, again, akin to that human in the loop. It is using AI, large language models, to do things like brainstorm. Am I going to just totally say, do this for me, AI? Please don't. Please don't. You're going to come up with slop. It's not necessarily going to hold true to what you believe, your values, et cetera. And especially with businesses, you want to ensure that you are staying true to your vision, your mission, your values, right? So augmentation is having AI, large language models, work with you, you driving AI, you using it as a tool or as a thought partner or as something to delegate to, not as a replacement, and certainly not as a boss or some AI overlord, right? It's there for you, and that is the best approach to take.
I agree. I think that has helped maybe quiet some fears that people have about this might be coming for my job. No, it's not coming for your job. It's coming to actually help you
Yeah.
do the job that you're already doing. So both of you, but Pam, I'll ask you this first. Going back to our foundation with trust, um, data privacy, right? So like if you have something that's supposed to only be internal, right? Putting this into AI, which we can ask Mel, the way that SkillSpout teaches that, but trust and your business and then data privacy. I think all of those things can seem like they might not go together in the same sentence. So, Pam, as somebody who's the CEO of BBB and speaking to people who might be nervous about data privacy, what would you say to them?
Well, and I think that goes right hand in hand of what we were talking about. So yeah, you want to take that human approach first. And with that is ensuring what information that you put in AI is secure. We talked right away about using free accounts. That doesn't offer you as much data privacy as signing up for a paid version. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and BBB doesn't recommend certain products, but what we can say is that the paid version is going to offer you more security. Um, so we don't want to put things like, let's say, even say you had the paid version, um, and you were trying to analyze data about your employees and it had their social security numbers on there. You don't want to put that in there because even in the back end of AI are people who are trying to make AI better every day. Look how far it's come. And we don't want them to have access to that information either. Um, with that, that also goes with companies that want to work with you. There's a lot of companies that might want to work with you and get their AI tools into your database. How are they using your data? How are they using that information to help you, streamline your business?
Very much so. You make some really good points about turning on, security aspects of AI. So having a company account, a company paid account, typically helps you right off the bat. And if you're using a personal account or anything like that, make sure you have the basics down. For example, turn off training of the model, turn on multi-factor authentication, because guess what? You could say, oh, I'm not training the model. You can put governance, which is something else you should, policies in place and all of those other things, and train people on your policies, what to do, what not to do, all of that. But if you don't have security, like basic security, and somebody breaks in your system, Boom. It's just like them breaking into your other accounts, right? All of those things should really be um, taken into account when you are adopting AI. And again, adopting AI is a journey. And we're talking about the first steps here, right? Privacy, making sure you're not training the model, even understanding what does all of this mean, right? So getting all that together, SkillSpout also offers strategy. So strategy coming with things like vision and direction. Where do we want to go? Um, the governance of your data, the putting AI policy into place. What happens and how do you want to deal with new tools? How do those things get triaged within your organization? We always suggest that you have a strong governance policy and AI policy in place and train everybody on it. Don't just put it out as a piece of paper. Nobody's gonna read it, right? You want to train your team with that policy in mind and show folks how to use their LLM with this policy. So yes, let's try uploading this. You can upload this. Let's try it. What you shouldn't do, right? With the PII, any of this private information, social security numbers, maybe it could be demographics of your constituents. And like you mentioned, Pam, what about the businesses you serve? What about your customers and keeping their data secure and safe? Knowing at least these basics of adopting AI and utilizing AI, even on that kind of foundational level, not even getting to this agentic stage or AI on the org chart stage, but that foundational level, having those in place for an organization, super important. Even if you're like, we're not ready to take it to the next level with AI, getting those basics in place is so very important.
Well, and you've talked about training, and yes, I agree. You have your AI policy added into your handbook that should go right along with your cybersecurity policy. And when we talked about training, that training needs to continue. We had a training yesterday with your team, and JP said so graciously that he said, Pam, you've created a culture here where it's okay to learn about AI and that you promote continuing learning of AI. So, yeah, AI has been around for a lot longer than people think. It's just we're at the point now where it's moving and it's not going to stop. So we have to get on board. So
Yes,
you have to create that culture internally in your business to wanting to keep learning about it and to within the guidelines of your governance, making sure that you are keep training and keep pushing training for your staff because it's just going to continue to grow and change.
absolutely. Every time we blink, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you both made excellent points. And it's funny because every time we at BBB have taken like another part of this class from SkillSpout, something has changed from the last time. So JP will always come in and be like, there's something new happening. And it's very exciting. And I think to your point, Pam, what you said about don't be afraid of learning AI and being constantly willing to learn, that definitely stems from the top down. So as a leader, if you are open to AI and open to learning more about it, that'll make your team feel a lot more comfortable, right? But speaking of that, so Mel and Pam, we're going to talk a little bit about shadow AI. So that is when employees are using unapproved tools in secret. So yes, I just gave the tiniest overview on that. But Mel, if you want to dig into that a little bit deeper, and then Pam, obviously your take on that in terms of being a small business owner.
Yeah, we see shadow AI a lot, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. What I see, and I certainly don't think anyone should feel guilty or even, take action against somebody who has done it, or, there's no reprimanding to be had. What that means, it's a signal as a leader. Your team wants this. Your team wants this. So instead, my take on this is instead first of all, learn. SkillSpout starts by working with companies on their AI adoption journey and AI maturity journey. We start with understanding what's going on your team, in your organization, right? Who's using what tools, and how are they using it, and all sorts of other information. So first of all, getting an understanding of who's using different tools and what they are using is such a huge awareness to have as an organization, because then you can start digging into, I wonder why this person's using Claude. You can start talking about it and making it an open conversation. And once you make it open and have an avenue of bringing different tools on and either explaining why certain tools are approved or not approved, people understand. People typically get it, and then you can start figuring out which platform or platforms you want to be on as a company and understand the reasons
Yeah,
why to do that.
I
But bringing
agree.
it to the forefront is such a huge deal. Go ahead, Pam. Sense
No, I agree. I think that, yeah, people are using it. And what happens if they're using it and you don't know about it and something happens? And that really can, erode trust in your business from a consumer standpoint, your employee standpoint. You need you need to create that governance policy before that Mel was talking about so that you can have these hard conversations. Because if you don't start, to be frank, if you don't start using these tools as a small business owner, your business is going to be left behind. And we don't want that. We want you to be using AI. Google already uses AI, for search results. More and more search results are happening. So to keep being found, you need to start having those hard conversations. You need to have control over what people are doing in your company so that it's not a reputation problem. It's not an internal, trust problem. It's just going to help strengthen the business and then puts you back into the driver's seat of how you want to use AI in your company.
I totally agree. The idea of, shadow AI, coming to terms with who's using what on your team, coming to terms with the organization of what your policy and governance and tools are going to be, and making sure everybody's trained on those so that they know how to use it safely, right? In order to maintain your, like, oh, we don't want to be training AI models on things, or potentially opening, just giving information, right, out that could be intercepted in some way. And you referenced that previously. That could be really something, not, you want to keep your customers' faith and trust in your organization. So it is super important to get a hold of this, even if you're not thinking, oh, we want to create, do agentic AI or something like that. These basic kind of policies are so important. These basic trainings and tool use and all of these items are such a good place to start and to get a grip on what's going on.
Yeah.
I agree. I think for many people, they would be shocked to know that AI they're probably using it, or something that they use is using it. So, we think that AI is this new thing that maybe came about like a few years ago, but in reality, for anybody that's on this webinar, if you ever go and watch TV, on whatever streaming service you have, if something pops up with recommended shows that you should watch, that's AI, right? So it's more integrated into our lives than we realize. We didn't implement that. And so now for work, it's on us to implement these practices, right? Mel, do you want to talk a little bit about agentic AI? You mentioned it, and just for the people that might not know what that means, do you want to touch base on that for a sec?
Right. So I think most of us we've probably played around with either Chat GPT, or maybe in Google, when you get your AI results, maybe you start, chatting back and forth at the very least. What you're experiencing is AI more as what I would say, chatbot. You ask AI a question, it gives you a response. Often you're copying that response and putting it somewhere. Maybe it's the start of an outline or a document for you or an email or something like that. And that's how most of us are using it right now. However, I would say it's like having a conversation with somebody, right? A thought partner, but you're still doing the work. Agentic AI, the easiest way for me to describe this is instead of just chatting with somebody, you're delegating. So it's the next step of AI. AI becomes something, a tool you can delegate tasks to. So I could say, I want you to, I don't know, create this email for me and put it in as a draft and attach this file you made for me. Perhaps you say, I would like a slideshow based on a conversation, an internal conversation we had. Here's the transcript. Create a slideshow utilizing our branding materials. And then I want you to email this to the marketing team to get their approval. That is agentic AI. It's taking on the task for you. Again, very important to have human in the loop at that time. But it's a very powerful way to use AI. And with that kind of power and delegation, it does absolutely require more governance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When you were talking, I was thinking about another phrase that I feel like is constant. It's now embedded in my head, but first draft, not final draft.
Bingo.
AI is your first draft. It will never be your final draft.
Yeah.
Um, but to touch base on this a little bit more, can you talk about training versus maturity?
Yeah. A lot of organizations, and I think this is great, think of large language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, Microsoft's Copilot. They think of it as like, oh, we're going to take a workshop and we're going to learn AI. Check, right? And it's performative, honestly. That's very performative. Um, that is just scratching the surface. So AI workshops and training are fantastic. It's a way to dip your toes in the water of AI. However, it is not the end of the process. AI, not only are we seeing new improvements and developments daily, so this continuous effort, there's also a maturity level to it. So at SkillSpout, we have a 5-stage human first AI maturity model that we developed, starting with this foundational level that we've been talking about, the basics, the ethics, security, human in the loop, prompting, and understanding what AI can do and can't do, and the different parts of AI, especially large language models and generative AI. Okay. And that's foundational model. From there are different things you can get into. For example, we have applied AI after that. And applied AI is like really starting to learn how to use the tools that maybe researcher agents, things like that, using agents more. In our embedded AI, we really get into roles, using AI for your roles and creating custom assistants so that you can rinse and repeat things. After that, we move to agentic AI. This is where you're starting to delegate. And then finally, we have cultural AI, which is where we have what we call AI on the org chart, where it's actually potentially sitting in seats and you're orchestrating the process. You and your teammates, humans, are orchestrating AI agents and working with agents and your teammates.
Yeah,
That's sure. Yeah.
And Katie, I would like to comment on something that you said, because you made a really good point about AI is changing every day. And I was recently at a conference with other BBB CEOs, and one of the CEOs is also very knowledgeable about AI. And he said, if a company or someone tells you that they are an AI expert,
Mhm.
it is a red flag, because AI is changing too rapidly, too much every day. If you look at the data from 3 months ago to now, it is 180 different. I mean, it is just huge. So I really like that, because I think that when people are looking for trainings or looking for to learn more, that's a good thing to realize that yes, the training keeps going, but it matters who you trust. If someone really says they're an expert, there's no way. We're not there yet.
We are all learners in this journey. SkillSpout we make it our jobs to do this constantly, right? We're always looking what's new, how to integrate it. We're testing things out and bringing it to folks to help them along in the journey. We offer you may not even know this, one of our newest products is the SkillSpout Current. So we have continuous learning, both available in person and through our new platform that's about to be released, but continuous training, right? With what's the latest, what's the greatest. Here's the latest videos, so everybody can really take advantage of it and stay up on track. But they don't have to be in the weeds, right? It's just like,
Oh, I love that. I think that's so important. And if people really do also want to learn more about like ethical use first, so BBB.org has a lot of great resources for free, just to kind of help get you started of what that trustworthy looks like for your business or as a consumer. So really the ground level, very basics of thinking about the ethical use of AI.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Pam, on that, like snowballing off of what you just said, uh, AI washing. So AI washing is when, companies claim that they use AI just so they can sound modern. And for customers, that might be a potential issue. There's also the issue of how do we clearly and ethically state to our customers or our consumers that we are using AI. For small business owners, what would you have to say about A washing as a whole, but also what they can do to provide clear and trustworthy signals to their consumers?
Like, I get it. Everyone wants to learn about AI and say they're using it, but let's look at Mel's approach of a human first approach. And we need to be authentic to our business and what that means for the mission and vision. So if you're just changing like content, even let's just say for marketing, and it's all now AI created, there's no pictures, it takes out the personal touch, that can make your business look inauthentic. You still want to strive for what the core of your business is, because like I said earlier, that's your superpower, being a small business owner. So you don't want it to seem fake. BBB's actually, we've received complaints and reviews about businesses using AI too much in their marketing because it seems inauthentic and they're not using it how they say they're going to use. So you can use AI on the back end a lot, and not necessarily have to always tell your customers. What's really important is your customer data. So if you have and if you're using some kind of tool to integrate in your system that's using your customers' data, you need to make sure that that is in your terms of service. If you're sharing that access, if you're sharing your customer data's access with someone else, that's important, right? We need to be transparent about that. But you don't want to just say you're using AI for the buzzword. We want to be authentic about it. So just like today, we're talking about ways that we are actually using AI into our companies. That's what we can talk about. So it could really erode your trust and your reputation if we're just making up what we're doing and advertising it just advertising. That's what BBB was focused on, truth on advertising. So you don't want to advertise something you're not really utilizing and just saying the word because it's a good buzzword.
Wow. Yeah, great point. And I love that BBB Cleveland got like right into this. And you had the vision to see that this was going on, this is happening. And how do you help not help everyone else adopt AI and grow and mature in AI in a really responsible way, and really taking that to heart by saying, here's how we will use AI. And maybe more importantly, here's how we won't use AI.
Yeah.
And here is where we need to make sure we are reviewing, and back to the, it's the first draft. It's not
Yep.
the final output until a human has reviewed it, checked off on it, and is this something you would put out there? Is this something that holds true to your mission, your vision, your values, right? So
Yes.
that's an amazing job. Yeah,
No, you too.
thank you.
No, both of you are having great answers. And I kind of want to go off of what both of you just said about being that human in the loop, human first approach. What are some tangible ways that small business owners can implement AI, but also keep that human touch, that human approach for both
Um,
of you?
yeah, I mean, implement AI, and it's 100% starting with AI doesn't replace me. It's that attitude, it's that
Mhm.
mindset, and realizing you are running the show. AI is not running the show, you're running the show. So, what feels comfortable to you, right? What do you want to make sure you keep for yourself? What is okay to offload to AI, or which parts of a process are okay to offload to AI? So really taking that into account as you are working with it. I would say just stay true to your values, your mission, your vision. Keep all of those things in mind while you're using AI.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think just like that, it's a strategy.
Mhm.
It should be part of your strategy. We've actually added a section to our leadership meetings about every month of how we can utilize AI into new things at our job so that we can kind of get rid of some of those repetitive tasks. Start with a low stakes tasks. You don't need to start at something huge right away. Take a small step. That you can learn about. I would say making sure that your cybersecurity is also aligned with this, because they go hand in hand. And your data is one of the most important things you can own as a company, and you want to keep that protected. And you, like Mel talked about earlier, if you put something out into the AI world, you don't want everyone to have access to it. And then see how it can make your customers' life better, right? They're they're who you're trying to please. If it's not helping you or your business or your customers, then it might not be worth doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You made such great points. I also think that uh, you know, I had that somebody recently ask me, how can AI help me? And I, instead of having nothing to say, I had so much to say. And I agree with you of don't overwhelm yourself at first. AI isn't going to take over doing your whole business, but start with dip your toes in the water. Start with little tasks. See how you react to it, what you like, what you don't like. Um, how AI can help you, and it's going to be different for everybody. With that being said, though, I'm going to give an example, and I think for BBB Cleveland and a lot of BBBs, our a lot of our accredited business owners are contractors, right? So think about roofers, plumbers, painters, things like that. So let's pick a roofer, for example. How would you say to them you can integrate AI in your business? Because a lot of the responses we have received are, well, AI isn't going to put a roof on for me. Right. So like AI isn't going to do this. So how would I implement it? So if both of you want to touch base, because Pam, I know this is your bread and butter, but Mel, also the AI side of things is your bread and butter.
Pam, you want to start?
Oh, sure. I was actually thinking about this last night. Um, and I was trying to get creative of what we really could do. But okay, let's say I wasn't really ready for a roofer, but I was even saying, like, let's say you're a landscaper and
Great.
you have like all these routes to go to. You can literally put every single stop you have into AI, and it will help you like navigate a plan of like what's the best route to take.
Mm-hmm.
It can really help you do that. You can, oh,
I know there's so much.
I know there's so much.
Designs. You could put designs in.
Yes.
You could take a picture of your backyard, for example. And you can say, "Hey, what would this look like with some hostas? I want to." You can totally do that. Actually, Google's a really, really good model, Nano Banana, for imaging stuff. Yeah.
Even note taking. I mean, when JP showed us that you could take a picture on your phone of handwritten notes and upload it and it turns it into a document, I mean, my mind was blown.
My partner Dave is my life partner Dave is in the he does fences and decks. That's hero fence and deck. So yes, how can Dave use AI? So I'm always like, you could use, AI to help you with your quotes. It can help you with like, I mean, heck, you could say go out, get a Google Earth shot, put a fence and, put these boundaries around it. You can visualize things. You could say, write me a proposal. You can do integrations with to get your quotes into QuickBooks or into your CRM. You could help write marketing copy, give you ideas, brainstorm for new product ideas. I mean, there are so many very practical ways to do this. Brainstorming is probably the easiest way to get started. You can ask your favorite large language model things like, I have an idea, give it your idea. What do you think about it? Do a SWOT analysis on things, or what am I not thinking about? That's always fun to ask. What am I not thinking about? Give me 5 ideas that my competitors might be doing that I'm not. Where are some service areas that I should be considering? But a lot of those just very
Yeah. And
using
social
it in
media, even.
social media. Yeah.
If that, you have to wear a lot of hats. So what are you not good at?
Mhm.
What is if you're not good at the social media part, have it come up with a plan for you. Have it write down, this is how I need this is what I should do based on
Mhm.
what my competitors are doing.
I saw something in a question. I have to answer it. So, what does all of this? Which system is this? So, this is something that I find a lot of people curious about. Like, oh, Pam and Mel are talking about all these things AI can do. What is this tool? And you're going to get a lot of emails and you're going to see a lot of ads coming out that say, buy this little shiny new thing, buy that shiny new thing. Guess what? A standard large language model. For example, if you're on Microsoft, Copilot probably does a lot of this for you already. You just need to learn how to use it. What else? Gemini,
Yep.
Google's
Gemini does this.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
My favorite's Claude. I use Claude Anthropic. They all can do this. They have certain strengths usually, and you have to just learn how to use it. You can get output in all sorts of formats. Create a social media campaign for me, right? Give me 10 ideas. Are you ending there? I know, Pam, you'd say absolutely not. Human in the loop, right? How about a picture? But you can ask for a picture, for graphics,
Yes.
for FAQs for your website, all sorts of things.
Yes, and that's great. So FAQs, I mean, that's great. So AI is using things, it's the way you're going to be found, right? If we talk about it from a marketing perspective, and I said earlier, you're going to be left behind because search engine optimism, that was like the buzzword forever.
I
That's not
know.
going to be around anymore. You need to learn these tools because this is how your business is going to be found with AI, optimization.
You got it.
So making sure this is also a good time to mention that making sure that things like your website is up to date because that's your data, your Google profile is up to date, your BBB profile is up to date
I know.
because they take the internet and search engines take things that they think are ranked highly or that they're more trustworthy. So they're going to prioritize those trustworthy sources and they're going to pull information for their search results. So making sure that your website and everything is aligned and that is making sense for if someone's pulling to learn about your business even.
Yes, I mean, 100% with like BBB data, right? Because that is going to be ranked really highly. it's an authority, it's a credibility signal. So keeping all of those channels up to date is super important, and making sure your website is visible and searchable in these results is super important.
And that just shows like, okay, how can a roofer use me?
Mhm.
AI is using your
All
company,
right.
whether you like it or not. So
Yeah.
making sure
Yeah.
that you have everything up to date.
Yeah. Yeah. I found a welder, by the way, on AI. This guy was like as far away from a computer as you could imagine. But I'm there looking for him because I'm like, hey, who can weld this, back together? A leg came off of the couch, weld it, right? And I remember talking to him. How did you find me? Well, I was using AI. He was blown away.
Yeah.
Super important things.
Well, I have one final question for you guys before we head out to the chat and then look at the questions in there. So if anybody watching this has questions that they want to ask Mel or Pam, go ahead and put those in the chat. But the final question I have for you guys is, for anybody watching this, if they want to start implementing AI tomorrow, what is one thing that you say that they should do? Pam, I'll go with you first.
Oh gosh. Okay. Honestly, just try it for yourself. You don't need to be perfect. I think sometimes you just need to get over the fear of doing it. Just create an account and try something small. You're not going to be perfect, honestly. Like uh, JP, who taught our classes, was like, I said, I asked this a question for prompt. And he was like, okay, everyone, how can we make Pam's prompt better? So like I'm still learning, right? I'm not an AI expert. I never will be. And so I always can learn to be better. So just having that starting place, I think, is really important.
Really like that. We're all AI practitioners, right? We're practicing. So yeah, I 100% agree with you. Just start somewhere. Start somewhere. Don't do, analysis paralysis on this. Start there, play around. Where could you play? Go to chatgpt.com or Claude.ai or Gemini or Copilot if you're into Microsoft, and try things out. Ask AI questions. Ask AI. You can ask it. What else can I ask you? Or how can I improve this prompt, right? You can ask it, what are different ways I can use AI? It'll help you. It'll help you there. Just, I would make sure to take some kind of at least introductory trainings shortly after that. Obviously, we hope you come to SkillSpout. But anything, even a workshop, it's a great place to start. Just know it's not your final destination.
No, I think both of your answers were phenomenal. And I'll even chime in by saying if you're nervous to implement it at first at your job, try implementing it in your personal life, right? Maybe your first thing you can ask AI is, can you plan out my meals for the week? Or something so innocent so that you're not as scared to use it. So even trying that small step before you implement it. But Pam and Mel, you both had incredible things to say. And I know we have some questions in the chat. So let me see here. Nicole, did you want to?
I actually have a running list here. So let me just kick off with, how can AI help our busy small business owners to update their websites, BBB pages, and beyond?
You can ask it, go crawl my website, go look at my BBB profile. You can ask it those things. It say, go out and give it the URL, give it your website address or your BBB, wherever you're located, and have it research for you. You can say things like, think hard, think deeply, do research. It might take a little bit longer. That's fine. You can say, how can I improve this? How can I improve my rankings? What doesn't fit? Ask it questions. One of the a really good prompt technique is to tell AI to act in a certain role. So I'll give you this one. You're the director and AI is an actor, and you're telling it, you're a SEO expert or an AI optimization expert. Go to review my website at https://mywebsite.com, right? And give me I want to see the map of the website and grade it against my competitors and where can I improve? You can keep iterating. It's not a one question and done. You have a conversation back and forth with it. So
Oh,
give it a
yes.
roll.
I
Yeah.
love that. And BBB has a lot of resources, right? So like advertising truthfully, when you become accredited, we do like background checks, and that's one of them, reviewing your website. So you can do exactly what Mel said and even put in like, am I following BBB guidelines of like to make sure I'm advertising? So you can integrate both of those things into one to, and we have lots of other ones about like how to use AI. Like, am I using, is this the best for search for AI or search for SEO? Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
Okay, here's another question. Do you have any recommendations for paid for versions of AI for businesses? And the context is when I think about cable being all inclusive in the past, and now we all have these disparate streaming subscriptions, and it's a total nightmare. Basically, her point is she's hesitant to commit to one thing and then end up with multiple unnecessary subscriptions. So, how do you manage?
Yeah. I think trying them out is very important. Just give them all a shot. Most of them have free versions available. Try them out. I will tell you what my favorite is. I am a Claude user. I use Claude. But I am also coming from a place of, I'm a developer. I'm a software person meets training person meets entrepreneur, right? So Claude's my favorite. I also use Gemini. I would say if you're working, the first step is to figure out, am I a Microsoft shop or my Google shop, whatever. A real easy way to start is to say, okay, the organization is going to be on one of these main platforms. You're probably already paying for it. It makes a lot of sense. You might, depending on how large your organization is, and different large language models and how they perform for different tasks. You might end up having, let's say you have a development team. That development team, the software folks might want Claude, right? And so that could be they might actually, it might be a smart idea to subscribe to that as well. But you could, I'd say try them all out, see which one you like best. The major players, Google Gemini, Microsoft has Copilot. Within Copilot, that's their software interface. You're actually getting the models. Claude is in there, so and as well as ChatGPT. They're a little older models in there, but not that much older. It's usually like one model off. Obviously, there's ChatGPT. Everybody knows about that. There are some other players as well, but those are the main ones that I think most people are using right now.
Oh yeah. And while we can't recommend a product, I will say that exactly what Mel said is we definitely like integrated our system. So we upgraded our system to get paid models for everyone. And that also made it easier if you're coming from like a stance of not using AI at all, to get people used to it, especially those who might be really nervous about it. It is much more palatable for them to start off small with something they're already used to using.
Right. Yeah. Microsoft, if you're a Microsoft shop, it's integrated into Office as well. So yeah.
Okay, another question. How do we respond to the conversation of the overuse of AI and its impact on the environment? It's a great tool, but I hear this point all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say, do some research on it. Make sure you have the research. Yes, it does impact the environment. You know, I'm it is something to balance. I think you have to lead. I can't tell you how to respond except lead with your mission, your vision, your values, and then do some deep research on it. See what impact it is having, and maybe you can offset the impact. For example, there's several organizations that I know that utilize AI and might donate to certain environmental causes or plant trees, things like this to help offset the impact it has.
Great. Let me see. We've got a few more in here. We talked a little bit about shadow AI already. Um, The question is this a discipline? Is shadow AI a discipline problem or the sign that a business is missing the right tools?
I think that you need governance. So okay, shadow AI typically happens when you haven't gone through a more than maybe workshop training or haven't even talked about AI in your organization. This is typically where I see shadow AI starting when you really have AI maturity in place and have a vision and direction in place for your AI maturity in your organization. Part of that is governance. And part of the governance piece, meaning put a policy in place. And part of that policy is here's how to use it. Here is how not to use it. Here are the tools you can use. Here are the tools that we would like you to come to us before you use. I've seen that's how I promote it. I say I try not to create a hard block for most tools. For most tools, some of them I do, because some of them I'm like, wow, yeah, you shouldn't be using that open source model from, this overseas manufacturer in our environment. I simply don't trust it. However, put some rules into place. Train your team on the rules, and potentially more importantly, train them on why the rules exist. Show them how to use AI with your rules, your policy. So it's not just a piece of paper. And if they are coming to you and you, hopefully you're giving them a way to share with you what they are using or what they are interested in using. So for example, you might say, hey, listen, we'll pay for this on our card if you tell us about it. That might be approach. I know and if you're like, no, you can't use that tool, you can at least go back to the policy and understand why you created and help them understand why you created it and give them a different approach and a different avenue to take so that they don't feel locked in or that they have to go into the corner and use it on the sly, right?
Yeah, we talk about, I know I said this in my post when I talked about this, is I cannot believe I talk about AI every single day. I mean, I would have, if you asked me 3 months ago and I wrote this, I wouldn't believe it. And so I really try to create a culture that we can talk about it and people feel safe to talk about it. And I just had someone today was like, Pam, I'm still unsure about it. And I was like, great, that's okay. Let's have a conversation about it. It will just continue to learn and make it work for you. Because it's a process, it's a journey. Like you said, we just got to keep the culture where we can talk about it and keep learning. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. And, Pam, by you leading the initiative, you actually double the chances of your organization's success in adopting it and maturing with it. And there's studies that show that when the president or CEO and the executive team really adopts it and leads the initiative, there is the adoption rate at the organization skyrockets. It's just amazing way to lead your team in adopting it in a really smart and successful way.
And that's why we're creating partnerships. I mean, you're an accredited business, and we want to be able to offer more tools to more accredited businesses, because even if it's just on the ground level, so that we can keep having conversations like this to keep teaching people as things move on. And so if we can learn first, we can help more businesses, more people feel comfortable with this, and just help educate people even together. So I think it's important. Any more?
Alrighty. If we did not get to your questions, I put an email for Cleveland or BBB Cleveland. It would come to me. If we didn't get to your questions, or maybe you have some that come about later, go ahead and copy that email. I put it in the chat. I thought this went very well. And by the looks of everybody that was commenting and chatting on the side, it seems like this was very well received. And I appreciate everybody attending. And I also appreciate you, Pam and Mel. Thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a good rest of their day.
And
Thank
I
you
would
so
like to say, if anyone would like to talk to Mel and I again, please email suggestions of what you want to hear about. And Mel and I would be happy to work together again and create something that you would find valuable.
Love to do this again. I would love to continue the conversation. Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you so much, Pam.
Thank
And
you.
the scenes, it was a wonderful conversation. And thank you to the audience. Yes, bring your questions and let us know what you want us to talk about next.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.